Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It is 2 a.m. somewhere. It is 5 p.m. here for the Divi live at 5. This is a monthly update. You know, we're usually here weekly, but as the holidays come around, we have slowed down a little bit on the number of shows that we're doing. The frequency is a little bit lower just because, people are moving around a lot and getting ready to spend time with their families. Now, we have a big update. This is a huge update because there's so much that has happened over the course of the month since I've seen you guys and since you've seen me. So I'm here to, of course, deliver the news. But of course, I usually come into these live at fives with some sort of, philosophy or strategy. Today's is about perspective. Okay. Perspective is incredibly important, of course, in all aspects of your life. It can change the reality of the way you live. It can change pretty much everything based on the way you perceive what is happening around you, right? Perception is reality. So we're going to talk a lot about perspective today because I see a lot of talk and I see a lot of things going on, not just in the Divi community, but in the industry at large. We're in the midst of a huge bull run. We're starting to see Bitcoin coming back from its previous lows. It's trying to touch that next all-time high, we all hope. But of course, with every bull run comes its own set of interesting sort of social elements, let's say. And this bull run is no different. Of course, we see a lot of emotion and a lot of narratives being shared and a lot of perspectives being shared. And so I'm hoping that through this video, this Divi Live at 5, I can help to shape your perspective, give you some understanding and a little bit of background as to where I've been as far as the last few bull runs that I've experienced, what might happen and what probably will happen, and just do some comparative analysis on the project versus the other coins in the market, as well as against itself over the past couple of years. So that's what you can expect today, as well as some special guests. I have two guests today, both of whom you know, I'm sure, by now, as well as a demo of the mobile wallet. And I'll be screen sharing that later in the episode. So, it's really important to me that you guys understand where we're coming from. We've always tried to be transparent about our strategy and about what we're doing. And I hope that we continue to share those perspectives here today. For a lot of you guys, crypto is like a part of your life, right? You wake up, you check CoinMarketCap, and you go to work or you go and do your thing. For me and for the team here at Divi, it is our life. There is no going away from it. It follows us everywhere we go. Telegram, Twitter, it's all there all the time, and it affects us deeply. Everything that's said, we take very seriously, just like we take the development of our products very, very seriously. And again, we'll talk about that a lot today as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the update and let's check out, first of all, the numbers. Now, today's numbers update is going to be a little bit different because, again, this episode is all about perspective. Now, again, I see a lot of things being said in the Divi Telegram channels and in the Discord and sometimes online, Twitter and YouTube and things like that as well. And I don't understand it. I guess I do from like an emotional perspective, where some of the frustration might come from. But if we take a look at the actual growth of this ecosystem, it's incredibly encouraging. The fundamentals have not changed at all. In fact, they've improved. If we look at, this is the Masternode tier growth over time. Now you see that there was a couple big drops. The latest drop was when we had that issue with DigitalOcean. You can see that not only did it come right back, there are more Masternodes per tier now than there were before. So the ecosystem has actually grown. There are more coins allocated to the ecosystem in general. If we look, the Divi allocation in millions has gone up, and it continuously has gone up over time. This is really nice, steady growth. Yes, there are some drops. Same thing, the drop in DigitalOcean nodes, of course, caused an outlier to appear. But over time, this ecosystem continuously grows. Let's take a look at the economy overall of the masternodes. So if this is 2 years. I'm going to keep going back to the 2 year thing because Divi is a long-term project. If you're looking for quick returns, you can jump into a DeFi pump and dump and get your money scammed out of your pockets. But if you want long-term growth, then you're going to want to find a project like Divi. Because if you look at just 2 years ago, we had, what is this? 349 masternodes in the ecosystem. But it was still 50% of the coins allocated to those nodes. A year ago, we had 674. This is only a year ago that we had so few masternodes in the ecosystem, but still had over 50% allocated. But if we look at today, again, the growth is incredible. Over 1 billion coins are allocated to masternodes right now. Right now. And it's still over almost 53, it's 52.3% of the coins are allocated now to masternodes. And of course, many, many more are staking. Why is this important? Because it shows that, again, nothing has actually fundamentally changed about this project. And again, it's only grown stronger. The more coins that are in those masternodes and the more coins that are staking and supporting the network, the stronger the project becomes, the stronger the blockchain becomes, the more secure everyone's coins and investment become. It's really important growth, and it really is actually pretty astounding, at least to me. And a lot of the people that we work with feel the same way. But it's not just about masternodes, right? We can take a look at the charts, right? We can look at Divi versus Bitcoin. I mean, these charts have a lot of similarities. And if you really look at Bitcoin, it did basically nothing for a majority of the time that it's existed. It's been building that network effect. It takes a long time to grow to the massive, massive network weight that we see with Bitcoin. Now, charts are whatever, anybody can put up two charts and lie to you with statistics. Let's look at the actual numbers, the actual statistics. Divi is up over the past 2 years, 500%. 500%. What's your money market doing? What is your 401k doing? Is it doing 500% in 2 years? I guarantee you it's not. This is incredible growth with a team that's tiny and basically, a fraction of the funding that existed in the pockets of the other coins that are out there and are competing with us. So, in my opinion, this growth is astounding. And if we look at it compared to Bitcoin once more, it actually outperforms Bitcoin over the past 2 years, where Bitcoin's up 280%, Divi's up 500%. So again, we're outperforming the biggest coin in the world, but it's not just about the biggest coin in the world. It's about the market at large, which we're also outperforming. If we look at these numbers, which are also staggering, and again, this growth is amazing. And I love Bitcoin. I have a lot of altcoins as well, but altcoins have only gone up 114. Crypto in general, 203, Bitcoin 310. This is as far as market cap is concerned, where we've done 1,800% growth in our market cap over the past 2 years. I don't really see the short term, right? The price of Bitcoin was $20,000 at the end of 2017, and it hasn't gone back to that in almost 3 years. And no one is saying boo. No one is fudding Bitcoin because, of course, the fundamentals have stayed the same. It's still an incredible asset class. We're seeing more and more institutional money come into Bitcoin, but it's taken 12 years almost for it to get to this point. That's long term. And the people who owned Bitcoin in the very beginning are billionaires, some of them, right? The people that didn't sell, that mined in the beginning and helped support that network in the beginning are billionaires. So it's really just about perspective, zooming out, looking at 2 years, looking at 5 years, looking at 5 years in the future, and not looking at coin market cap on a monthly or even a quarterly basis. It's about that long-term growth. It's about that about that fundamental value. And I really, really just want to press that into your minds in this video. If you are looking at Divi as a quick return, it's not. It's a long-term project that we're working very, very hard every single day to deliver on. So that's I guess the numbers. Sorry for my little rant. But I guess we can move on. And I want to bring in our first guest, who's a good friend of mine and the CEO of Divi, Jeff McCabe, to give you guys his own little update now that he's back from Puerto Rico. My man, Jeff McCabe, how you doing?
Great. I'm happy to be back in Costa Rica after 3 weeks in Puerto Rico. Incredibly fruitful trip. I just met so many amazing people, and I don't know if everybody saw, but I did this presentation, a couple of presentations actually, in Crypto Mondays, and the second one was very, very prominent because of who I was speaking alongside. There's actually this thing that kind of were billing it as the legends of blockchain or the legends of crypto, and then they had me in there too. So I was very, very happy they did that. And a lot of people kind of wondered like why I was there, and it's hard for people, I think, to understand, like with Divi not even a top 100 coin right now, why somebody like me would be put in there. And the reason is that a lot of people have been watching Divi for a long time and really rooting for us. And what we, like you were saying, Nick, what we've done has been very impressive to people. But it takes a while to really win the sort of the hearts and minds of people that have seen scam after scam after scam. So we've been able to get over the years, you know, in sort of in contact with a lot of these people who are the leaders in this movement, get on their radar and have them watch us. You know, we see them at the shows and conventions, try to have a beer with them, try to have dinner with them, always, you know, trying to get on their radar again and again, because that builds trust over time. Many of these people live in Puerto Rico, or if they don't live there, they visit. And so basically in Puerto Rico, especially San Juan, it's like a 365-day-a-year crypto convention. So there's all these people that live there all the time. So there's constant events and gatherings, little parties. They have, you know, something where they all go like hiking on Saturday morning into the woods together, and just all kinds of events that are happening. And every week new people come in. And I would go to these events and half the people would already live there and the other half were thinking about moving there or already on their way to moving there. They were, you know, looking at real estate. So this is kind of a growing scene. It's really obvious that Puerto Rico is going to become the world capital of cryptocurrency. And the presentation we did was for the government of Puerto Rico. So we had the head of the Chamber of Commerce and a bunch of people. I think the mayor was there, and the ones that weren't there were all going to watch it. And so they basically brought in the top people. They had Andrew Keys, who's the one co-founder of Consensus, which is basically the for-profit arm of Ethereum. And they had Brock Pierce and his partner, Scott Walker. And they had Nick Spanos, which I think people know who he is. And then Michael Turpin. And then there was me. So they asked me to talk about I know, right? So they asked me to talk about staking.
Heavy-hitting lineup.
I know, right? So I felt really honored to be among all of them, and also they're all there, so they're listening to me talking, right? And so I was able to talk. I had never met like Andrew Keys before, and was able to speak with him afterwards, get a few questions answered about Ethereum that I didn't know, which was very interesting, actually, what's happening with Ethereum. But anyway, the point is that these are the guys that are really making things happen, and getting on their radar, earning their trust is really important. And so we'll be announcing a bunch of new partnerships that came out of this trip. We're just getting things looked at with lawyers and getting things signed. I'll tell you a little bit about a few of them, give you a few hints. One of them is we should have a new banking partner. In addition to Redivi, we'll have a US bank that'll be supporting us. So ideally that will turn into being able to offer US bank accounts to our US customers. Because right now we can offer our Redivi accounts to US customers, but it puts them at somewhat of a risk with the IRS, because if they forget to report that they have a foreign bank account, then they can be fined, right? And so people might forget to do that. And so, you know, it's better if people have a US bank account. A lot of people may think, oh, I can have a foreign bank account, and then the US government doesn't know. Well, that's not the case. They know. They know if you have a bank account. Believe me, they know. And so having US accounts is good. And US accounts are good also because people from around the world often prefer to have a US bank account. So that partnership is going to be really good. We're also I had a meeting with him today talking about alternative fiat on-ramps. They're opening, this bank is going to be opening their own exchange, and the founder of this bank just absolutely loves Divi. So a lot of good stuff is going to come out of that for sure. Another one I'll mention was I had the great pleasure to meet and hang out with a guy named Rob Viglione, who's the head of basically our sister Masternode coin, Horizon. So you may have noticed that on like Masternodes Online or Masternodes Pro, there's two top coin masternodes right underneath Dash, and we're both around the same market cap, or right around 60, 70,000 kind of range. And so it was really interesting talking to him because they launched in 2017 and have gone through all the same problems that we have. So it was really fun, like drinking beer with Rob and like going through like the whole thing of, how do you make all your, your people happy when your coin goes up and then it goes down and they're all unhappy and then it goes up again, they're all excited. And people always sort of measure your success by the highest peak, right? And then once it goes down, they're crying. Like you were mentioning about expectations. Like for us, we were like praying and hoping that we would be at 2 cents by the end of the year, and here we are at 3, feeling like we're victorious, but then feeling like there's this FUD in our not just in our Telegram, but even family members and people that are longtime Divi holders and supporters kind of coming to Nick and I asking questions like, "What's wrong?" kind of thing, and we're like, "Nothing's wrong." We're up. We're hugely up.
We're up 180%.
Exactly.
500% over 2 years.
Exactly. So that can be a little frustrating having to answer all these people, but it's crypto is like a roller coaster, and so talking to Rob about that was very interesting. So we're going to partner with them on some stuff. We're not sure what. One of the cool ideas we had was that they're doing side chains for other projects, and we're looking into doing basically a privacy side chain for Divi, which is really good. Some people that want to send Divi want to do it in a private way, because Divi's like Bitcoin in that although there's a certain amount of privacy, everybody can kind of see what's going on. If once you send Bitcoin or Divi to somebody, a smart person can kind of track back to different addresses. And unless you're using Monero or one of these other coins, you don't have that kind of privacy. So having Divi on a side chain with their project would be very useful for people that wanted to work with Divi, but it's then not something that we're doing directly. It's something that they would do on their own because they just want to do it. And so for people that want to have sort of a privacy aspect with Divi, that would be a solution for them. So there's a lot of other cool things because they really were interested in our use cases. That's what I found over and over and over, that people that I talked to were really, really wonderfully excited by all these funny little use cases that we're doing. We're doing a video game, Siege Worlds. We're doing a comic book project called Lightning Works. And we're doing this permatech digital nomad space. It's crypto only. And a lot of people have asked me from the beginning, like, why are you doing this stuff? Why aren't you working on putting more devs on your wallet? And the reason is because basically the way I see it, crypto adoption is going to happen first in high school students, and it's going to work its way up. I think everybody in tech has learned from TikTok. TikTok is the new standard for how tech is going to develop, and you have to target the youngest users because they're the ones that are not only the sort of technology in every aspect of their lives generation, but they're also going to be the blockchain generation. So if you're not
adopters of a lot of this stuff.
Exactly. They're the first adapters. They find it really easy to do all this stuff. So we're basically creating these various use cases in Divi that span this market, high school and college age students. What's going to happen is there will be a tipping point where all of a sudden every kid in the high school is sending crypto to each other on their phone. And if you're not doing that, you're completely uncool. And there will be then we go into what I call branded money, right? So then people would be picking which brands of money they like. That's why we always, from the very beginning, tried to make Divi like a cool sort of sporty look, because we figured that would be good for branding. And we knew that red is often sort of the premier brand in every category. So we chose red for that reason. We were thinking ahead 3 years ago when we did this. So we're basically gearing up now by creating these different use cases that appeal to those age groups to be the one that becomes the cool brand within high school age students around the world. And that can lead to adoption of hundreds of millions of people very quickly when that tipping point hits. When I explain this to people, I can tell you, I talked to a lot of the top visionaries in crypto when I was there, and I told them this, and their jaws dropped because they realized I was right, and they were really sort of like, well, it's one of the reasons that all these people are now really watching Divi to see what we do, and we're going to get a lot of support from a lot of people that are going to be working with us from behind the scenes. Everyone's going to see this in the next several months, what happens with Divi. I can't promise anything about pricing. You just never know who's going to decide to dump for whatever reason. But I can tell you that behind the scenes, there is a humongous amount of momentum behind Divi at this time, and you're going to see us rolling out not only products but a lot of new relationships with influencers, advisors, hopefully some new exchanges. We're going to get introductions to a lot of the biggest exchanges in the next few months. So yeah, lots and lots of good stuff going on with all of that. Another cool thing I'll just mention is that I met two of the original cypherpunks that were friends of Satoshi Nakamoto, or at least were email pen pals. One of them, they wouldn't tell me who he was. I know that I met him. Another one, they did tell me who he was, somebody that knew. But those are the type of quality of people that are living in Puerto Rico. So there's some pretty amazing people down there that are, you can go out and drink beer with these people. So I also want to mention we're going to be releasing at some point soon a major upgrade with our blockchain. So we've been talking with Herman and Daniel Kraft about that. They've been working since May or so, refactoring our code, trying to clean up everything, adding some new features, and they're telling us that we're going to be able to go into testing very soon. And when that happens, we'll basically do a hard fork. We'll get a bunch of new features, and everything is going to be running a lot smoother as far as the chain goes. It's amazing like how many small problems there are in the PIVX chain, and that the thing runs. Actually, everybody's kind of surprised. Nick and I talk about it all the time. It seems like blockchain, it's amazing that they run at all. So
Yeah.
because of all the, you just throw one little thing in them, like EOS got.
Is, they're picking up all of these things over time. You have Bitcoin, which is 11 years old, and that's being forked, and that was Dash, and then that was forked to create PIVX, and then all the things that were added to that, and nothing's being cleaned up along the way. It's not how typically you would develop a product, but that's just what's happened. And a lot of these chains are really sort of at the mercy of that spaghetti code.
Right.
So you were kind of wary in the beginning about doing the refactor, right? Because you're like, that's going to take so long, and we have all this stuff we want to do. But I think we have a saying called, or a phrase called technical debt in software development, and I think we just saved ourselves a mortgage.
Oh yeah, I mean it's so important to do this. If you think about it, you start with Bitcoin, and then they forked it and made it into Dash. Then you take Dash, and then you add Peercoin to it to make PIVX, and then you take PIVX and turn it into Divi. And all along the way, there's all this stuff added and stuff removed, and somehow it works. But it's really time. It was time to go back and sort of streamline everything. So I guess, Nick, you told me that Herman had told you we're at about 40% of the way. But we're basically found a stopping point, so we can do a nice upgrade and then work on the next 60%.
And some of the upgrades are already being tested, like the new Mochi, the Masternode system, staking vaults and things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of really cool things that are going to be happening. So what's really also exciting for me is this sort of idea of Divi everywhere. And people, again, one of the reasons I went to Puerto Rico is because I wanted to, talk to the most brilliant minds in all of this and pitch them ideas and say, hey, this is what we're doing. What do you think? And people just love this idea of having Divi on every different blockchain. And because people ask me like, oh, you're based on a UTXO blockchain, you only got 1 minute blocks. How are you going to compete with all these new chains that are so fast and are running? Like Andrew Keys was telling me, or was saying that Ethereum is going to be up to 100,000 transactions a second or something like that within a year with what they're doing, because they're adding sharding, and there's so many they have to add the shards one by one. How are you going to compete with that? Well, the way we don't need to compete with that. Basically, what happens is we put Divi onto all the other chains where people are using it by making a wrapped version, and whichever networks people are using will have a Divi version there. And so the idea is we'll get Divi early into as many important chains that we can, and we'll be developing the technology to make it easier to wrap it. So that's one reason that we've partnered with Copper. So Copper basically stores the Divi while it's been sort of locked up with Copper and remade into new coins on a new blockchain, whether that's Polkadot or Ethereum or EOS or Wax. Nobody's really done this before. I mean, people are putting Bitcoin on a lot of them, but no other coin has ever thought to do this. And so people are like, "Wow, that's a really interesting idea," and they see the value, and they see right away, "Wow, you don't need to worry about scaling. You just scale wherever you need to be. You're there, and you move coins over there. That's our scaling." So, I mean, we can still add.
Our blockchain's already more scalable even than Bitcoin.
Right. I mean,
We have
Bitcoin is.
block size.
Yeah, we're double the block size, and we have 1-minute blocks as opposed to 10-minute blocks. So we're 20 times more. And Bitcoin's already serving tens of millions of users. So between the two, and we can still add, of course, chain Lightning, adding our own Lightning network, which we'll add, after we've gone farther into the refactor. That we have many ways to scale. So that should not be even an issue. But I'm always surprised at how many really smart people ask me that and consider that to be an important factor. And I think that's because of, in the ICO days, people made such a hype. They built so much hype around how fast their blockchain was.
Every ICO was like, scales to 100 million transactions per millisecond.
Right, and so many of those have already died because nobody's actually using it.
Well,
and so
there's
that's
not 100 million people even using crypto.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't matter. And if people aren't using it, it doesn't matter how fast it is. And so it's really important that you're developing interesting use cases. Like, for example, with Lightning Works, it's not just about comic books. The comic books are to be used. It's all designed to use the comic books to be made into movies and like Netflix shows, because tens of billions of dollars per year right now is being poured into making content. And so people there's a debate actually while I was there about Wax. Like, why isn't Wax's market cap higher? It's around the same as ours, and yet it's seen as the market leader in NFTs. So why isn't it really successful? Why isn't it $1 billion blockchain when NFTs are seen as a multi-billion-dollar industry that's coming along? And I think one of the reasons is that so far on Wax, it's just sort of been trading cards. It's been Garbage Pail Kids. It's been a few different things. And a few companies have done some interesting things on there, but people don't really see how that's going to translate into something really big. What we're doing with Lightning Works, though, will change that, because when we do a comic book that gets greenlit to be made into a Netflix show, and we can say, hey, this thing that started out as a blockchain NFT token is now being made into a Netflix show, or being made into into a movie or something like that, then that's something that's people can suddenly understand why NFTs are really big. And so that's one of the reasons why we've brought in a guy named Jordan Fixenbaum as the CEO of Lightning Works. So he ran Cirque du Soleil's marketing and sales and PR for 7 years. He has $5 billion in ticket sales under his watch while he was there. And he's going to be the new CEO of Lightning Works. He knows all the people in the gaming industry, in Hollywood. All of these different types of people are people he's worked with, because the CEO is a global entertainment powerhouse and has worked with so many people across the spectrum. So that was another thing. I brought him with me down to Puerto Rico, and he presented at Crypto Mondays with me. And I think people in the blockchain industry were really impressed with this, because nothing like this has ever really happened. Like, blockchain is very removed from the rest of the world, and suddenly this top leader in something outside of crypto has become really interested, not in crypto but in Divi, this little coin that nobody really has heard of around the world. People start to really pay attention that's able to.
Well, think
people
about
pay
this too. Think about the implications of funding for entertainment with NFTs. Imagine
Mhm.
if you could invest in The Mandalorian and like the
Mhm.
success of The Mandalorian with an NFT, and you're helping to fund the project as a result, and you own, a little Mandalorian pin or whatever on the blockchain, but that increases in value as the show becomes more successful. Like those types of things are potentially disruptive as well, outside of just having like the awesome moving comics and everything and the way to pitch to
Exactly. And so
to people.
there's actually two blockchain projects that are planning on tokenizing scripts. So they tokenize Hollywood scripts. They sell part of the script as tokens, and those investors in that token, then if the movie turns into something really big, they will get paid for that. And it's a good way to get a movie funded. And so there's two of those. And so I've been so basically we're basically getting Lightning Works introduced to both those projects with the idea of using our comic books and the stories we're creating through that and becoming part of sort of a system of taking the scripts from Lightning Works into these sort of script writing places. Okay, so here's a sort of an example of, we did a little demo of one of the comic books, and this is a comic book that's like for kids, where the idea is it's sort of like a digital pop-up book where kids will be able to click on the words and they'll say the words. They'll be able to click on the characters. They'll have sound. They'll have music, and there'll be all kinds of other little add-ons, right? So this kind of shows kind of how they animate, and there's a little bit of a movement for these comics. This one I really like because it shows a lot more of the potential of what's going on. This isn't necessarily what they're going to look like, but it's kind of a demo of kind of like just a little sort of teaser of what these things could look like. And there's a lot of different ways. That one's as being for kids will probably look different than the way we do things more for adult-oriented comic books. So I can also talk about Siege World. So Siege World is actually a Lightning Works game, and Frisco maybe. Nothing to do with the game. Just to show that something's actually being made, because in the world of
Awesome.
in the world of crypto, like so many projects never produce anything at all. That if you can show that you're doing something, you're already ahead of 90% of people, right? So I wanted to show people that there is actually a game, and people are able to already download this and play with it a little bit. I'm not claiming that it's fun. There's really none of the sort of the mechanics that are going to make the game fun. I promise you, it'll be really fun when it's done, because there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're doing with it, using nifty tokens, and the game mechanics will be really interesting and fun. But I just want to show you that there's something to test, and that we'll have constant updates to this. So people that want to be involved with it to be able to play it and basically find all the bugs, it'll be very helpful. I think we're going to set certain times of the day where we'll have an hour where people can jump in, because it helps to have 20 people at once playing the game, because things work fine with 1 or 2 people, but then when you had 20, that's when all the glitches appear, right? So
do us a favor real quick, Jeff, because I know a lot of people do want to know about the wrapped Divi stuff. You were with Spanos in Puerto Rico. I know there's other wrapped Divi initiatives going on. Can you give us anything on wrapped Divi right now?
Yeah, so basically Nick Spanos, he was there in Puerto Rico, and his team didn't even know he was there. I kept saying, I took a picture with him. I was going to send it to the blockchain center, and they're like, no, I don't want them to know where we are, where I am. I'm sure they must know by now, but he's just been so overloaded with.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point they had to know.
Right.
So, but it's pretty funny. He's just been so overwhelmed. He had 3 really close people to him pass away in the same month.
Damn.
And it was really hard on him. And he's had
hard.
some health issues with his back going out and all kinds of stuff. So he's supposed to be coming down to Costa Rica to hang out. In fact, the whole crew of all these people in Puerto Rico said they're going to come down here and stay at my resort. They're talking about renting out the whole place like in 2 or 3 weeks from now. So we'll see if that really happens. There's a lot of beer talk going on down there, but we'll see. I think it will happen eventually, but that'll be fun, because I'll really get a chance to really talk with people. I try to pitch it as not a beer drinking thing, but as a yoga and healing time, healthy food, because everybody needs it, especially I actually was so tired and exhausted from just poisoning myself with alcohol. And I didn't even drink that much, but still just doing it
That's
day
what they
after
all
day.
say.
Yeah. Doing it, but it's also just staying up often until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, night after night. And just doing that, it really took a toll on me. And once I got on the plane and I got off, I had a fever, and I was actually really sick for the last 2 days. And everybody thought I had COVID again, which is pretty much
impossible. Don't get it again, man. Come on.
I was like, it's almost impossible to get it a second time. So I wasn't, and it didn't feel like that the second time. I just felt like I was sick, but I feel so much better now. So tomorrow, I think I'll be back at full steam. But anyway, back to Nick Spanos. So he told me that he has his top blockchain genius working on it, and he's gone through 4 iterations of this with another team, and then moved it over to this other guy because they didn't like any of them. So they've been working steadily on this, and he's been paying for it out of his own pocket to make it happen, because it's such an important use case for Zap. Because if they can do this for Divi, then they can do it for other coins. Zap is still, they're about to launch a bunch of really cool stuff. So they're going to have a whole new front end, and they're going to have a lot of interesting things. They've done a terrible job, I think, of sort of clearly demonstrating what it does and what it's going to do, what it can do.
It's pretty complex. It's probably kind of hard to break that down in a marketing package,
Yeah, it's very complex.
Like bonding curves and all the stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of these things, and it's interesting. Another coin called I can't remember the name right now, but they basically just took their exact idea, launched an ICO, and now they're 100 or 200 million market cap with the same idea, but they had really good marketing behind it. And Zap has been hindered by Nick Spanos' inability to really promote it himself, because he's a creator of it and the head of the foundation for it, I think. And so because he has a bit license, and he lives in New York, he has the New York authorities, which are sort of the most hardcore sort of anti-crypto, anti-blockchain hawks, watching
the home of Wall Street,
everything he does. Yeah, exactly. And so everybody in New York is really sort of hamstrung by their inability to work with the New York authorities very well. So we'll see what happens with that. But I still think Zap has a phenomenal potential based on what I know they're developing and all the cool things they're doing, and the people that are behind it. So I'm going to be fully supporting that project. But yeah, so that's still happening. There's also 2 other projects that want to do a wrapped Divi for the Ethereum blockchain. The reason is because all this DeFi stuff relies on staking coins and being able to use the staking and lock up the coins and then take loans against the stakes that will be coming in and all this kind of stuff. And Divi has one of the highest staking rates in all of crypto, at least for a coin that has any kind of a history. I'm sure there's coins out there that have promised 10,000,
right?
But
only legitimate coin.
Exactly. When you look at the legitimate coins, I actually, for a presentation that I never got to it, but I did a list of all of the high staking rate coins that have a 2-year history. The only one that's beating Divi is Synthetics, which actually many people asked me about Synthetics. I didn't know much about it, but they've done really well. It has a high staking rate, and it's gone up a lot in value. And they've been pure DeFi from the beginning, so I think that they've done.
They were DeFi before it was cool to be DeFi.
Yeah, so I need to look more into that. Actually, it's one on my list to talk to them to see how we could work with them, because they've been very, very successful. There's really only 2 that have done really well in that category, and it's the 2 of us. So
nice.
Yeah, so so we will become part of DeFi. We'll have a new partner to announce, a very big partner that's going to be supporting that effort. So that's one of the people I spent a lot of time with while I was there. And all these people are connected. They're all like roommates with each other, friends with each other. They play poker together, and this kind of stuff. And so
that's how most industries are, though. Like,
yeah,
very personal,
Yeah, exactly.
Music, film, pretty much even tech and stuff like that. In LA and in Silicon Valley, it's very like close knit, tight circle.
Right. There's definitely like a
Crypto's no
club.
different.
Yeah, there's definitely a club of guys that, and there's some women too, but mainly it is guys still in this industry. But they're from all over the world, people that live there. A lot of Americans, though, specifically because they moved there for the tax benefits. Europeans don't get that, but plenty of Europeans and people from other places have moved there just because of all the investors that are there, and they really like the scene. All the people there that are involved in the scene are really cool people. They're really nice. They really care about blockchain and crypto, and none of the scammers are there. So it's a really good place to go and get involved with a lot of really high quality people and projects. And so people kept saying, Jeff, you got to go spend time there. So that's where I went. I went for 2 weeks. I extended another week, and I'm going to go back for New Year's. Hopefully, bring more of the Divi team there. I'm hoping, Nick, you can join me. And there's going to be there's a lot of series of parties, just apparently epic parties between Christmas and New Year's. So it's going to be another exhausting week or two, but it's very important for Divi, and I think for any blockchain project that wants to succeed, to sort of have a presence there among the people that are kind of making all of this happen. And so I'm just going to have to spend a lot of time there. So it means being away from family.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it sounds like it's been a worthwhile endeavor, and it's like I said in the beginning of the video, this is our life. We don't have lives really outside of it. You do have a family, of course. I have my family, but they've gotten used to this to some extent.
Yeah.
And there is no, crypto doesn't sleep. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And we have to be at least trying to match that, right?
Yeah.
If we want to succeed.
So the last thing I want to mention that I'm really excited about is Permatech. We actually poured concrete.
Right.
So
really?
Maybe there's some photos. Maybe Frisco, I don't know if you have those photos. Look, concrete.
This is awesome. Whoa. Very nice.
So here's the guys actually working. You can,
Whoa,
one of these photos.
Ethereum shirt. What is this? You should have a Divi shirt on, sir.
Is that really? That can't be Ethereum. No, that's like
that was 100%. Oh, was it Volcom?
No, that was Volcom.
Okay,
yeah, it was a surfer shirt. Wait, one of these photos though is pretty cool. It actually shows kind of the whole scale of it, how big this is. If you keep going through, let's see, it kind of shows the view there. And there you go. You can kind of see the scale of it. So there's going to be stacked 40-foot containers there with a stage at sort of at the end where the guy in the pink shirt is. There'll be the stage over there, and right where in front of the wheelbarrow there'll be a 40-foot container on end. It's 40 feet into the air with a view tower on the top and a spiral staircase in the center. It's really going to be it's a really epic design. It's going to be really neat. And I told people about this, and I expected people to be like, wow, that's like, why are you guys doing this? Like, this is weird stuff, like, but people absolutely love it. I can tell you everybody wants to go there. It's going to be a raging success. I can guarantee it, because everyone wants to go. I mean, first of all, Costa Rica has this phenomenal brand, but to actually have a place where they can buy all their food with crypto, they can like get surf lessons with crypto, do yoga with crypto, and like live there, and it's like a dream for people just that this even exists, And then it's in Costa Rica, which everyone's so excited to like go visit Costa Rica and go to the beaches and see the monkeys and the whole thing. It just has a great brand as a country, and so it's going to be a really good success. And we have actually a couple of people that want to do like a Permatech sister thing in Puerto Rico now. So we're talking about that. And how to make that happen. But I keep telling people, like, everything we're doing is crypto only. We are not going to accept fiat. I mean, we'll accept fiat, but it gets converted into crypto. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, you can't play the games we have with dollars, but we'll take a credit card and you buy Divi and then use the Divi to the game, right? So all these use cases we're created on ramps for people onto Divi. And so, and when I explain this to people say, "Oh, I see what you're doing." Like I'm starting to call it psyops. It's all this sort of psychological stuff that we're doing, that is not really apparent to people who are very focused on coding stuff. For me,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, you have to get out into the real world. It's like Ben always says, you know, if you want to change the world, you got to get out in it. And this is no different.
right.
This is awesome. What's funny is like the people watching. I know we went long on this section, but I think it was well worth the additional time. People don't realize, like, you know, we have to adapt to what we're building. I mean, we have to adapt to people's lives. We have to adapt what we're building to people's lives. And what's funny is a lot of people don't realize, like, this is the first time I'm hearing a lot of these updates. You know, you've been away. You've been just networking and going hard, grinding it out down there in Puerto Rico. And like, so this is really an amazing update for me. And I'm sure the community is feeling the same way. And I know there's more stuff even than this.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, I have to cut you off and move on with the show.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, but I really appreciate it, man. No, not at all. I would 100% let you keep going, but I know there's guys out there. It's like 3 a.m. for them almost. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's get on to Ben or whatever else we need to do. But
Okay.
are we gonna? I can join for the AMA.
Hell yeah.
I'll stay
Definitely
here.
come back for it. Cool. All right. Well, once again, thank you, Jeff. That was amazing. As you mentioned, we still will be doing an AMA at the end of this video, so you can always be putting those questions into the chat, and Frisco will grab them when the time comes. It's always helpful to have them kind of built up before we jump in, so there's no waiting period or whatever between. Okay, so obviously, if you just jumped in, if you haven't seen the beginning of this video, Jeff just dropped like 800 bombs on us of information, some new partnerships, some new use cases, new advisors coming down the pipeline. Lots of things need to be signed and confirmed, but some really amazing things, including a U.S. bank partner that's going to allow us to give U.S. bank accounts as well as the IBANs, making it a little bit easier for those individuals in the United States when it comes to be tax time, which I know all hate, but most of us have to do it. So moving forward, we're going to get into our projects and ventures, and then we're going to talk to my good friend Bitcoin Ben and send him a little bit of Divi with the wallet. But first, I want to just talk about the wallet. Let's jump into this little interstitial piece. All right, so where to begin? Because we talk about the wallet a lot, right? I see the talk, I see the fatigue in the community regarding the wallet. When's it going to come out? Why don't I have my hands on it? And a lot of people speculate that the wallet is a cause for market activity, price activity, and things like that. I find that hard to believe. I mean, obviously it's possible, but maybe to some extent it is true. But I just don't see how that's how that's really making a massive impact. That said, I understand that people want the wallet, and it is the most important thing that we're building at the moment. But the thing is, you don't just build something like this and push it out. Now, obviously, I was hoping to have this thing done, at least to the point where it is today, in the summer. That did not happen, and we've gone over that at length. I'm not going to harp on that again. But now we are at a point where people are starting to have it in their hands, and people are really impressed. And I think you'll be really impressed when I start to demo it in a few minutes. But I have to go over some things first, because you have to understand, this is not a mobile app that you would normally see on the App Store, right? This is not a game or social media app or something where the data that's contained in there, while sensitive, it's not financial data. It's not people's money, right? This is people's retirement. I've literally helped people move their 401k LLC funds into Divi Masternodes, right? That's someone's retirement fund. This is money that people have worked their entire life to create, and now are putting it into a project, trusting us with this technology. And the same goes for really anybody that puts money into it. It could be your extra funds, but for some people, it's very, very significant money. This is not a joke. This is $60 million just in the Divi ecosystem. And that doesn't include Bitcoin. That doesn't include Litecoin or Ethereum or any of the other coins that we are planning to facilitate the transfer and storage of. This is not to be taken lightly. And honestly, anybody who takes this lightly, you should leave the project, because they're obviously not taking it as seriously as they should. This is, I'm telling you, I will not put this out until it is absolutely ironclad and no one is going to lose any money. I'm sorry that I'm getting so heated right now, but I'm so tired of the speculation and the pressure of everybody coming and saying, where's the wallet? Where's the wallet? Where's the wallet? You don't understand clearly how important this is to me, how important this is to the people in the community that are putting money towards this. This is the most important thing possibly that I will do with my life. And I'm not going to just push it out because you want the price to go up in the short term. I'm sorry. And I know that this is kind of like a harsh way of delivering this, but it is how I feel. And I just have to say it. And if we take a look at some of the plans that we do have, we're doing rigorous QA testing before we even get into, giving it to people in their actual hands. We're doing our own, of course, internal testing. We call it the Divi play environment, right? We do OWASP security checks, huge checklist, making sure that everything is secure. Of course, then it goes to the beta bashers, internal testing, performance testing. Then we debug. Then it gets to the alpha testers. Then it gets to people like Ben and the community members that are on that list, right? And then, of course, it goes and goes and goes until it's finally ready for the App Store, and we push it and we market it heavily. That's the type of approach that needs to be done for an app like this. If this thing crashes, if this thing gets hacked, that's it for all of us. Me, I'll never have a job in this space again. If I even get a job in tech, I'd be surprised. For all of you, it's just over, right? It cannot fail. We cannot take a shortcut here. I'm sorry. And we have a little bit of additional info around this. So this is kind of our phase testing plan. It goes in 2 tracks. We have our Divi play, which is like our staging testing ground, so to speak. And again, it just goes through the dev testing, beta bashers, then our friends and family, and then the limited group. And that's like Ben and people like, community members that have been around for a long time. And then it can go into production, which still requires the same level of testing, but it just goes further and actually gets produced or pushed out into the production environment, which will be your App Store or your Google Play Store. Now, moving forward, let's actually take a nice look at this app. And I'm going to bring a good friend of mine on to do this with me. And I hope this works. I've never screen shared with a phone before, but we're going to try it. Hey, Ben. All right. So this is my actual wallet on screen here. And I'm going to move my mic real quick. Sorry if this makes noise. So this is my, again, actual wallet. And Ben, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing, brother?
Good. Now, did you set up the wallet with your name and everything?
Oh yeah,
or just the address.
I've actually been playing with this thing all for what, like 8 hours or
It's fun, right?
Something like that.
It's like actually fun to send crypto.
Oh, I know. And please, everybody, forgive me. I got my new teeth today. So
Dang, they're looking nice.
I sound like I have a speech impediment. I'm drunk and I got Down syndrome. So I basically not doing so good tonight. Plus it's late. But
you look good.
Well, that's a given. No, I have mine right here.
Boom.
And I can already tell you that I love it. I knew I'd like it. I knew that you all would not actually put out junk, but I've already transferred some Divi. I transferred some Bitcoin. I transferred some Ethereum. I transferred some Litecoin. And and all of the other features that aren't up and running yet, but you can see them. I'm not going to talk about those because I don't know if you've announced any of that. I'll leave that up to you.
All right, I appreciate it.
As for what I can play with, it is badass. I just absolutely love it.
Now let's see if I can find you in here. Are you under Bitcoin? Oh, there you are right there. See, my favorite part about this is my favorite part about this. I just searched your name. Boom. Let's send you some Divi. Perfect. Now, if we actually look, it's got 0 confirmation. So it should come through on your end here in a few minutes. If you actually tap on the amount, that'll refresh and it'll take a minute to come through.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll give it a second here, but my favorite, like I've literally just sat there and oh, there it goes. There you are.
I got it.
You should have gone through. Show your screen real quick. Boom. So, and this is a real transaction, right?
What's up with only sending me 5 Divi, you cheap bastard?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm actually I got to donate to a friend's initiative here in a bit, but I'll send you more later. Because trust me, if you look at my transaction history, I've been sending the past few days a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I'll send you some Litecoin too. How about that?
Ooh.
So, right. We're in this mode, right. We're in the play. We're in the Divi play right now. So I'll send you Litecoin later. But
No.
yeah, the fact remains the same. It's super fun to send crypto. This is like the first time it's actually been fun, and honestly, that to me is like just I don't know why no one else is doing this, right? Because I've seen it, I guess, in some wallets. You can kind of search a database or whatever, but this is not searching a database, right? This is your address is connected to your identity, right? And of course, you don't have to do that if you're a person that likes to remain anonymous or what have you. But this allows you to, once your friends get into this ecosystem, you don't have to leave, right? It's like a Venmo or it's like a PayPal for crypto. Now, as we add those fiat features that we'll start to roll out here soon, it gets even better. And I really hope that people understand like the consolidation of the value chain thing, and I think we've talked about that multiple times. And I know that's one of the things you like about this.
Yeah. Let me explain in the silly sounding way I sound right now. This app, what this is the replacement for Venmo. This is the replacement for PayPal. While everyone's hyped about PayPal and Venmo and all that, this replaces Venmo and PayPal and puts the money that Venmo and PayPal would have made, it puts it into the ecosystem of the people running the Masternode or Masternodes. So it's basically, instead of paying a major corporation that will hold your money if you're a naughty boy, this is a replacement for that. That's why I keep on telling people, you have no idea what this project is and how they're approaching the youth and how they're approaching the games. I've heard people say, why is Divi messing around with comic books and games? Because the children are going to use this wallet and not PayPal, this wallet and not whatever that is, that Venmo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because number one, this is going to be easier to use. When my daughter goes off to college, I'm going to be sending her money through this app and not Venmo or any horse crap like that. Because, number one, she already knows the value of crypto. She already knows it's an appreciating, fluctuating asset. She understands network value. So she understands, why would she hold Venmo, which holds like dollars, when she could use this and hold her Litecoin, hold her Divi, hold her Bitcoin. And there's the youth is smarter than we are, technologically wise. But when you get involved with a project like the Divi project, and they've got their eyes on the youth, I'm telling you right now, that is the pulse of the future monetary system. You don't make money investing in old things. You make money investing in the new things that are coming. And let me tell you what, Jeff hanging out with all of those influential people that I've probably met, most of them, or at least half of them, the fact that they had him up there and they had him talking, look, and I'm not saying they're bad guys, but every group is a small group, and most of us ain't a part of it. They brought Jeff in because they understand what the Divi project is. You don't even have to sell the Divi project to the OGs. They know what it is. They look at the team, they look at the white paper, they look at the effort, they look at the community, and they see gold. They're like, hold up. There's something about this project. So they bring him in there. Now he's in front of these elites of the elites of cryptos. And he's like, why am I here? Well, it's because it's not really you. Sorry, Jeff. It's the community. It's the people. It's the Telegram groups. It's the work that all of the developers are actually doing. It's the voice. It's all these other people that actually come together. That it's like I say about Litecoin. I don't like Litecoin because of the logo. I don't like the Divi project because of the logo. I mean, it's a real cool logo, but if you understand economics and you understand people, then you understand why the Divi project is so completely different from any other project out there.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. I mean, again, this whole episode has been about perspective, right? I started it off talking about the perspective against the market and against some of the big coins. We talked about the perspective that we have when developing this technology. You know, none of this stuff happens overnight. Even getting to the point where Jeff is able to speak alongside some of the biggest names in the space didn't happen overnight. These guys, we've known these guys for a while, right? I've met Brock many times. I've met Spanos a couple times, Luke Stokes. All these guys are, I've partied with them. I've hung out with them. I've had dinner with many of them. But that doesn't mean anything, right? But it is that introductory, cursory overview to the project. And they've always said, we like what you're doing, really impressed by the growth. I never really hear much negativity. Of course, people have, well, what's your value proposition, or, what's your scalability philosophy or whatever, those types of things. But I've never heard anything negative about the fundamentals of this project. And I'm not saying that, of course, I'm biased because I am one of the people that started it, but from an objective perspective, we've really done well.
Right? I am not biased. You and I met years ago.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you didn't hook up with us right away.
No. I thought, hey, this is a nice guy, we're having drinks, we're having a few beers and hanging out. And I learned about your white paper. I read it, I looked it over. I'm like, man, if you can literally create what you say you're going to create, this is going to be magic. But that was it. I said, well, good luck.
Right. Which is totally fair. That's totally fair at that
time. When you guys had worked your way up, where you had a wallet, you had the Masternode, it was actually user friendly and one click, and it worked. I was blown away. I'm like, okay, that in itself is a multi-billion-dollar market cap coin. If you stop there, it's multi-billion-dollar market cap. But you guys' vision is not to create a ship. You guys' vision is to create an armada of ships and all of them interconnected and all of them moving in different directions. You may run the Divi project, but no one runs the Divi community.
Right.
It is absolutely decentralized. The best idea wins. That's what I've noticed about your Telegram is there aren't any hammers in your Telegram. You got a whole lot of ink pens. Everybody's writing down ideas. Nobody's smashing ideas.
Right.
And that is a community that grows together and works together using the creative destruction of capitalism at its finest, because you've all got the same goal. Make the best project we can.
Right.
And I can't help the people that don't see it, which actually most people that watch my show, within maybe 2 or 3 episodes, they're reaching out going, hey, what are you talking about, Divi? What is this? And I'll explain it, or I'll send them a few, of the episodes that I've really dug in on. And then they get it. And then they're like, oh, wait a second. So this is like digital rental property that gains value and also pays you rent as the community grows. And I'm like,
good way of putting it.
Yeah. And it's multi-use case and all these other relationships. And then they get it. And I love how earlier you See, this is why you and I connect, because we're both very passionate about what we're passionate about.
That's right.
I loved seeing justifiable frustration in your eyes, because you, like every other honest creator and professional, you'll plant your feet and go, look, I'm not going to build a shit project. I am going to build a great project. Whenever you are, there's a reason that a good safe will run you about 20 grand,
Right.
because it isn't easy to get into. There's a lot of technical stuff.
Right.
You are dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars of value. All right. If you're walking, because this is a road, brother, you're on the Divi road. If you're walking the Divi road and you're carrying half $500 million, you ain't swinging by the bar, and grabbing a drink.
Yeah.
No, you're focused. You're doing it right. You are doing exactly what you should be doing. And I love to hear you tell people, hey, if you want half-assed, sorry, brother, you
You're
need
in the
to
wrong
move on.
place.
Yeah, this ain't the place for you.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to hear you say it. And I hope others share the sentiment. I understand the frustration. Trust me. I mean, I'm a crypto investor as well. I've been in other projects that have frustrated me, but you got to trust that the people you invested in haven't changed, have the same intentions as they did at the beginning. And they're still working just as hard as they have ever worked, maybe harder to deliver it on that vision. It's not easy. This industry is like really, really aggressive, and it takes a strong person. It's not for the weak-hearted, right? You gotta have tough skin, because it changes every day. I mean, I wake up tomorrow, the laws are different.
Yeah.
We gotta reevaluate the whole legal plan. Now we gotta go. Like there's so many little moving pieces that we have no control over, as well as the pieces that we do have control over, and we're coordinating all these things at once. And of course, we're trying to appease investors and stakeholders and people that are believing in what we're doing. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of focus and a lot of effort. So I appreciate that, man.
Hey, no problem, brother. I got your back. I love you. I love Jeff. I love everyone I've interacted with your team. Nothing but professional. Nothing but hey Ben, how's it going? How can I help? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's nothing. I'm just checking in, see what's going on.
Yeah.
And and I love what you guys are doing. I love the community, and it's don't rush anything, because I'm telling you now, in 2, 3, 4 years, when all of us are reaping the rewards of all of our hard work and all of our patience, you're
We'll be laughing.
you're gonna value these times. We're gonna look back and go, man, remember 2020, and it's
How
gonna
could you
be
forget?
like, I don't want to.
Yeah. I know. Well, Ben, I always appreciate you coming and chatting with us. I always appreciate chatting with you, even if it's not on, on a live stream. But so I really appreciate your kind words, and of course the ability to send you some Divi on the live at 5. I mean, that was so fun.
Absolutely, I got
Yeah.
5 Divi.
Yeah, it's 5 Divi. So, I'd love to keep you around if you have time and bring Jeff back on and do some question and answer if you're down for it.
Yeah, sure, I got time.
Cool. Jeff, you want to come back in here? Is he still here, Frisco? All right. So we have the trifecta here: Jeff, Ben, and myself. Let's talk. Who has questions? Frisco, if you got any questions from earlier, we could start there. If you're just joining us, we went through a lot today. It's a very, very long episode. I know. I'm sorry. There's a little, if you watch this after the fact, it's a little gear icon at the bottom of the screen. You press that and you press 2x speed, and you can run through this in half the time. It actually is a little faster, it seems like. But so if you want to get through this video faster, hit those buttons. Frisco, any questions for us today? Thanks again, Nick. Now to seeing a little of the wallet and your passion, I feel much better about the wait for coming online. I appreciate that, because I actually saw this is Reddington Man. I saw some comments before we jumped in from Reddington Man. So if you scroll up to the live chat, you'll see he was a bit skeptical in the beginning, little losing his faith, a little disillusioned with the project, and we've seen that a lot recently with people in the community. But I hope that this video, that again is focused so heavily on perspective, has helped to change yours or realign it, so to speak. So thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just want to say, if you're ever feeling down, just watch one of my episodes.
True.
Because I will always cheer you up on cryptos. There's nothing negative in cryptos, even on a down day. Let me run through this real quick. The Divi project, it has something that I don't think people have wrapped their heads around yet. It has what I refer to on my show. It has actually buy high protection. So even if you buy high, you run a Masternode, you earn up. The rewards is your dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Divi is one of the few. There's a handful others maybe that has buy high protection. It's literally like insurance that comes with the project. If you're running a Masternode, even if you buy high one time, the Masternode erases that high buy over time and actually averages out your buy without you having to purchase more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's why what you guys created was so amazing, where you can get FOMO and this phone be okay. You ain't got to worry about it.
I'm gonna use that, dude.
Right? Because it is gonna earn you and equal out your investment. Nothing else does that. Nothing but Divi. Brother, I'm telling you now, if you ever doubt your Divi, come see your brother Ben. Because I will cheer you to pluck right back.
I love that. It's true. You have an infectious positivity to you, man. It is very, very true. I wish I had that. I have never
I'll lend
used
it
that
to
gift.
you.
I appreciate it. So what else we got today? Chances of more bank partnerships in other countries like Australia. I mean, I'll let you answer this, Jeff.
Well, we have under development a sort of banking partner for Europe, but nobody for Australia. However, that both the U.S. bank accounts and the Costa Rica bank accounts can be used by Australians. And generally, other countries are less restrictive than the United States. The United States is the most difficult country in the world, probably to work with all this stuff in, because all of the licenses required state by state for certain things, and so many different organizations within the government, each with their own rules. And when it comes to crypto, they're all sort of jockeying for power right now. Nobody really knows who's in charge, so it makes it very difficult.
I know.
And so yeah, we'll over time we do need to add banking partners, or at least what's called corresponding bank accounts for the company within different banks and different countries around the world, which gives us access to those markets. So it just basically expands, and this is what every single fintech does over time. You start with a market, then you expand and expand and expand. Even some of these multiple $100 million projects that I've talked to in fintech don't cover the whole planet when it comes to everything that they can offer. So that's what crypto solves, all of that. But unfortunately, the authorities aren't really allowing us to solve that problem, even though it's been solved, but they won't allow it to happen. So
Right.
it's just going to take some time, at least 10 years.
Yeah. Nick, how much will the beta wallet have to be adjusted before moving on to the alpha testers? So like I kind of demonstrated our QA roadmap and pipeline, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, it just has to pass through. Basically, the beta bashers are sort of the last line of defense before it goes to the alpha testers or the community testers, so to speak. If they find anything, it starts the process over again. It's hard to determine exactly how long each sprint takes. Usually it's about 2 to 3 weeks per set of features. So the next big features that'll come out are actually the Mochi, the mobile masternodes. That's been worked on for a few weeks now. You find little things, you got to improve the user experience. We do a lot of the internal testing so that when it gets to the beta bashers, it's already almost ready to go. Hopefully they're just finding small nitpick details that we can fix later, like little UI bugs or whatever, but hopefully no fundamental technical bugs. And basically the goal is that when it gets to the alpha testers or the community testers, it basically is the production version. And they're really just saying, this is really cool. I'd like it for it to work this way. You should change the color here. Things like that are more cosmetic than technical. So that's kind of our strategy, and I think it'll help us once we get to more of a sustained level of development to have that same pipeline. That's true. You will be able to launch a staking vault on your phone. That's not really a question, more of a statement, but it is true. What else? What else we have, crypto? I mean, Frisco. Let's see. I'll look through myself. If you guys see anything, you can say it too. Let's see. You guys have asked a lot of questions. It's kind of hard to choose. Well, how do we Masternode holders handle tax this year? Is Divi considered a foreign bank? No, Divi, the cryptocurrency, is not considered a foreign bank. You can export all of your Masternode transactions from your wallet into a CSV file, and you can hand that to your bookkeeper or tax consultant or whoever you're using. They can usually help you out and help you sort of determine what your responsibility is there. Cool.
So we're giving away some Divi, Nick?
Yeah, I certainly can. If somebody wants to post their, maybe we should do the posting of the addresses today, and then we'll do the giveaway on the next video, so people aren't just like sitting here while I copy and paste a bunch of addresses. Let's do that. Comment your Divi address. Don't put it in the live chat. Actually, comment it, because the live chat will disappear eventually.
Yeah.
Comment your Divi address. I already see people putting it in the live chat. Put it in the actual comments below, and we will choose on the next live at 5 next month some winners, and we'll give away some Divi that way. Can somebody give me the bike link? I forgot. We need to donate to the bike initiative. This is a really cool thing. So one of our community members, 2 of them actually, are organizing this bike initiative to give bikes to I think it's like 100 kids in South Africa, in this village in South Africa. It's a really amazing initiative, and I'm hoping that we can donate to it. But I need the actual link. I didn't have it up first. I'm so sorry, Rob. If you can comment that, I'll 100% do that right now. And again, don't put your address in the live chat. Actually, put it in the comments, and we'll come back to it.
How much are they trying to raise?
It's 100 bikes at 3,800. I think Divi per bike or something like that. Let me try to find the link real quick. You guys talk to each other or something.
Yeah, I'm looking for it too.
Okay.
I almost have it.
It's called Bikes to the Future. I know that.
Oh, okay. Bikes.
There you go. So
I was going to there was a question actually that popped up that you didn't read. You missed it, but I was going to mention it because the question related to the UI for the wallet, and you had mentioned about how fun the wallet was, and it's an interesting coincidence that I actually had a whole page in my presentation with all those legends of blockchain talking about the importance of making crypto fun. And I mentioned, basically, I was talking about staking. So I talked about how staking is fun, and that staking is basically sort of the like button of banking in a way, where you get these rewards, you get these little hits of endorphins when you win your awards, right? So learning how to use that makes a cryptocurrency more fun. And what we did with Divi, we made 3 different ways. There's basically 3 different staking mechanisms with the masternodes, the staking, and the lottery blocks. And so that's part of why I think we have this interesting dynamic with our community, because there's a lot of chatter about what's going on and the 3 different staking methods. There's no other cryptocurrency that has that type of thing. And long term, it's very good for branding because it makes owning Divi more fun than other cryptocurrencies. And so I'm really glad that you mentioned that about the wallet itself is fun too, because that needs to be something that we think about a lot with everything that we do.
Yeah, 100%. It's going back to that initial philosophy that you brought to the forefront. If I can't do it while I'm drunk, we haven't done our jobs well enough.
Yeah.
And if my grandma can't do it while she's drunk, that should be really what it is. God rest her soul. She'd be like appalled that I just said that. Okay, Frisco, share my screen real quick. I'm going to donate to this bike initiative. So it's 100 bikes for 100 kids. This is the address. You can look it up. Let's do this and donate. How much do I need to donate? Let's do 8,000. Boom. All right. Got 8,000 Divi there, Robert. I hope that helps, and I hope that others will donate to the address. The address is on screen, and we'll post it in the link or in the description as well. We'll promote it a little bit more. So it's Juma is the guy that's actually in South Africa. He opened a Divi bike shop, and I want to bring this up, especially because this is an initiative that we're not funding. I mean, I just donated to it, of course, but we're not behind this in any way other than supporting the actual initiative. Why is this important? Because you guys can do this too, right? Don't ask what we can do. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country, right? Don't ask what your crypto can do for you. but what you can do for your crypto. People that participate in their projects, in the projects that they invest in, are much more likely to have success with that project. It's the same thing. There's actually a psychological study on people that utilize social media in different ways, and people that actually go on social media and contribute to the conversation, engage with posts and things like that. Their psychology is different than people that lurk. People that lurk develop this really negative sensibility about social media and about the people that are on it because they're not participating. It's the same way if you go to a social gathering and you're sitting in the corner. You look like a weirdo. You're kind of antisocial. Nobody wants to hang out with you. But really, all you have to do is come over and introduce yourself. So introduce yourself to your project, right? Come and build something. My man built a bike shop out of a shipping container in South Africa. I'm sure you can think of something cool.
I'll tell you what.
Technical.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to kick this off. I want to donate 100,000 Divi.
No, you're making me feel bad. You're making me feel bad.
I know.
I did 20,000 a few hours ago, and I thought that was being generous.
Right. Hey, if we're going to change the world, you got to get out in it. And
I love that.
This guy is out there trying to change the world because those bikes are going to change people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's how, and you don't have to meet the lives you change. Just know you're changing lives for the better, and your life will get better.
Yes, sir. That's right.
All right. That's very, very generous of you, Ben. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. And I know I'm looking at the comments right now, and Robert's freaking out. He also called me a cheapskate, which now I am, thanks to you. But,
yeah, I am too.
Oh dear. I'll donate more. I swear. I only had so much on my phone here, so I promise I'll come back with more. Man, this has been quite the Live at 5. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of amazing updates. Nearly over an hour and a half of content. So, hooray for those of you that came and stayed with us the entire time. Wow, and thank you. And for those of you that catch up on this video after the fact, thank you as well. We really, really appreciate everything that the community does for us. We really wouldn't be anywhere without the community. We do this together, right? We there's an African proverb, Haminu, if you're watching, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? So we want to go far. We have a long-term vision of this project. We have a long-term vision for crypto. We're making all cryptos easier, not just Divi. This is how mass adoption happens. You adapt. Mass adaptation has to happen. You build for the individual's life. Their lifestyle has to be contributed to. We have to be better than the banks. That means our security has to be better than the banks. Our user experience has to be better than the banks. And everything about the entire ecosystem has to beat the banks. It has to beat all of tech. In my opinion, it has to be the best thing, the best app on your phone. That's my goal.
Yep.
You want to open it up. You want to send Divi. You want to set up a new Masternode. You want to check. I want all of these apps, all of this crypto apps in my little folder here. All of those should just be gone, right? Because we're going to consolidate all of them into one. You're going to have your exchange. You're going to have your card. You're going to have your crypto all stored and be able to send from it. You're going to have your earnings. You're going to have literally every piece of your financial life in one place. And that doesn't come easily, but it will come. I really can't thank you guys enough for sticking around with us and sticking with the project. I got to let you guys go at this point. Once again, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Ben. We will see you guys in December for the next Live at 5. Look out for the date for that. And I will see you guys next time.
Wow.